So one of the more interesting things of like coming to truth or entering into silence, to where you perceive and know reality directly, one of the crazier things is at least it seems crazy at first. I don't think it should be that big of a deal, but it is crazy that Christianity is true, right? It might not be true in the way that like sort of the Western evangelical mind, the modern mind understands it. Like that might be wrong, but at its core, Christianity is true. Some of the definitions of words might have to be changed back to definitions that reference reality rather than definitions that reference ideas. Right, like heaven and hell and eternity and timelessness and the body and life and all that. All these words need to reference actual things in the experience, and that's what they used to reference that. And then only in modern times did these words reference something somewhere else. So it's not to say that like heaven is like, oh, it's here, heaven's everywhere, right? Like it kinda, but it is here. It's like hidden here. You have to find it. It's here, but it's here, and it's being experienced. It's in the experience. It's just like, are you noticing it? Just like it's like the sensation from your little toe is here. It's here. It's in the experience, but you had to find it, right? So all these words in Christianity are here, and if you start to see this experience, you see that it's here, and you see that like Buddhism is here, and you see these other things are here, but you also see that like Christianity is here. And if you see somebody who's not into or accepting of the centrality of Christianity, that's like somebody who's in denial about the way gravity works. And you can use it as a benchmark to kind of test the depth of someone's realization. And the people that obsess the most about Christianity are people that don't have it. It's like a lot of the times when you don't, like when a culture is not embodied, then that culture will worship and promote and use as gurus and teachers people who are embodied. So people who are normal are worshipped by people who are broken in a particular way. So people who really, 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 really don't understand Christ or don't understand those things are the ones that are like the most adamant Christians. Just the way that somebody that's like, not very, somebody who's not very healthy is the most adamant wellness practitioner. And so when you understand Christianity, it's like there in the background, just like, it's like all your movement patterns might be based off of gravity, but you don't sit there like opining about gravity all the time necessarily. So it's like church on Sunday, unless you have a very specific job as a monk or at a specific phase in life. Otherwise, you just kind of like worship of the ground of being is kind of like an unspoken second nature sort of thing. It's just kind of a no duh the way things are, like a normal. So if you notice somebody who's doing anything and they're not seeing that, if you don't see the gears open to that or accepting of that, right? There's different degrees of accepting Christ. Like it's kind of like you can be. It's all based on the definitions of the words or whatever. So, but if somebody is awakening to truth, you can't dismiss these stories. Like these stories that pop up, like if you eternal life, right? That's if you transcend into the higher realm, as you come through, people tell your story. So that's why people become immortalized in battle or in victory or fame, like true fame. True immortality is when people tell your story. So if you see somebody like die and you see like their story being told and propagating like naturally, people are just doing it, that person is in heaven, and that story is their body. You're seeing as their body moves through this, which is like our mental realm, the story comes out of us. So it's not like people in this world don't have to like try and preserve somebody's immortality. When somebody's immortality touches us, we tell and enact their story. Like the immortals are not immortal because of the actions of mortals in terms of like retelling and making them stay alive. If that person obtained immortality and stability in that higher dimensional space that we call heaven, as they move around up there, the contact causes the story to erupt into our mind and into our imagination. And so you see that. So you have to look at particular stories that like have caused obsession, and you can see like who the ruler of heaven is, like what story is most present underneath all the other it's like it's kind of like obvious that realm of existence, like I would call it a fourth or fifth dimensional realm, the ruler of that realm in terms of like that story narrative thing that we experience on this level is Christ. But there's other immortal beings that people call gods and angels, and when they move through us and they contact us, that's what causes the eruption of thoughts and concept and narrative strings and things like that. And so the life that you live can cause types of immortality, right? Like there's negative types of immortality where people tell like that as you can gain immortality, and then as you move through it causes a scary story to erupt, right? But at that level, it's like everything is so immersed into that network of meaning. The large language model, it's like the large language models are the things that those AI large language models are like a model of the mental realm or the world within which the gods live. And so when somebody obtains sainthood, like in Christianity or even in Buddhism and stuff like that, people tell their stories. Oh, they rainbow bodied. Generation after generation after generation hears about that person who did that thing, who lived that, who embodied that virtue, and they obtained immortality, and you feel their presence when their story comes out. And there's various types of like the density of the body that you can get, the types of immortality that you can get. It's like a passing mention, like a fully fleshed out narrative, like mythologies, like people telling like fictional narratives based off of you, right? So it's like in that mental realm you're getting. I think that's what in Christianity they meant by like crowns. Not that those stories are those things, but like to those without eyes, mythology, narrative, stories that go down through the ages, that's your most direct, easiest to perceive material of the gods. Meaning and narrative is like the material of heaven. So when one is translated into heaven, you see that as ripples of meaning, like echoing out into time from the point of their translocation. So the substrate of this existence is meaning within which you can find eternal life, versus like the transhumanist thing of to say, none of this is meaningful, so I have to encode the meaning of my life into the digital archives, into the even into the Akashic records, or and things like that and so forth.